Drive on ZM. So I think you had 2 years there with Jase PJ. Is that right?
3
years.
3. Yeah.
What's sort of the best and worst insight from that period that you took to Melbourne?
Do you mean the job, or do you mean?
I think I'm talking about the craft of radio in particular.
New Zealand is so loose, and Australia's what I found always sort of, I'm not saying this is like now, but when the outside looking in, I always found Australia to be a lot tighter in the sense of radio. A lot more schmick and polished, and I mean,
you can't say certain things.
Yeah, well, they pay their talent $5 million, for certain talent. Where in NZ, the like highest paid person was getting 100K or whatever, So like comparatively, but they were there because they loved the job and they were having fun. I definitely noticed I think for us being able to find that balance between the two of like a bit of looseness while also elevating the show to a new level was something that myself and I think Jase PJ is, really try and get right. It's hard because I'm very grateful for my time at ZM and all the stuff I learned, but I don't look back too much. I don't reflect. Maybe I should do that more. I don't know if that's something that,
Yeah, I mean, it sort of seems like, I've interviewed Polly, Jason, yourself now, and I get a sense that New Zealand can be a real, not so much a stomping ground is not the right word. It's sort of like a place to really grind down the edges on repertoire, content, the processes that you're going through on a daily basis. Because, like you said, things aren't as schmick, or maybe there isn't as much at stake, whatever it may be. It sort of gives you an environment where you can be just that little bit more creative that allows you to find out where the edges are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think Jase really brought something to NZ, which, people might disagree with me saying this, but I think Jase brought. I think drive time in that particular time in New Zealand radio was perhaps they were sitting on their laurels a little bit lazy, and Jase brought that slickness and that amazing creativity into New Zealand, which I don't think drive time radio had seen for a while. Not while I'd been at ZM anyway, which was 4 years by that stage. So I think he's got a lot, and there's some great shows over there now. I think honestly he has a lot to do with that and to kind of stoking the fire a little bit, so to speak.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Jase was a guy that is a guy that is very passionate, and he's lucky that, like, I think about it, I listened to Jase on the radio as a teenager when he was known as Labby, right? Like he was on with Kyle and Jackie O, and Kyle and Jackie O probably next to you guys are the biggest personalities, I would say, on radio, at least in Australia at the moment. But Kyle and Jackie O have consistently been there for at least a decade. Yeah, like I know them from since I was about 13.
Oh, so mate, I knew them pre my radio passion in NZ. Like that show's a monster. It's mammoth.
Yeah,
and it's famous around the world.
So you can see how there would be I know there were things imparted on Jase, but Jase has sort of changed. Jase has added his own flair to what he learned from Kyle, I think.
100%. We joke with Jase about going to the school of Kyle Sandilands radio, but no, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. Jase has done it his own way, and he's probably grabbed the things he really loved and the things he didn't like about working on that show, and made it his own. He definitely deserves full credit for that.
If you you've been working with those two now for quite some time. I don't know what it is about them. I got to say, it's the only show. Every day, I'm sitting here at my desk and my partner Lauren's sitting on her desk. We work in the same business. We will listen to Jase PJ like religiously every day. Not live on radio. We'll listen back on the podcast because I think the podcast preamble is just fucking hilarious. And it's the only show where I thought I'm going to listen to the whole thing just going back to radio. The only other instance I can think of is I watched the snippets of Kyle and Jackie O on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot. So that to me is really interesting because I'm quite a skeptical person. I'm
the same. You've got to earn my love for whatever you do. You know, if someone recommends a movie to me, I want it. Like, I'm not just going to watch that movie because you tell me it's good. Like,
I'll watch the reviews and check it all out.
Decide for myself. Yeah.
Yeah.